Even if it says your name, even if it knocks, even if it cries like your mother, don't open it.
Do you know what time it is when the world feels like it's holding its breath? 3:03 a.m. That's when I first saw the door. I live in a one-bedroom apartment on the 6th floor. 3 doors, front, bedroom, bathroom. That's all. I'd lived there 3 years. Nothing changed. But that night, when I got up for water, I found a 4th door. It was in the hallway. Pale wood. A brass handle, old and tarnished. No frame. No hinges. Just a rectangle sunk into the wall, like it had always been there, waiting for me. It wasn't there when I went to bed. I was sure of it. I checked, rechecked. I stood in front of it, heart pounding. The silence was heavy, like my apartment had been vacuum sealed. The air smelled like wet earth, mold, and something older, like a basement that had been sealed for centuries. I reached out. The handle was cold enough to sting, like ice pulled from a lake in winter. I told myself to go back to sleep, that maybe I was dreaming, sleepwalking, that this was sleep paralysis with a twist. But I did touch it, and the door opened inward. There was no room behind the door. Only a hallway, narrow, long, impossible. My apartment isn't big, but this corridor stretched far beyond the limits of the building, far beyond what physics would allow. Dim red lights buzzed overhead, spaced unevenly along the ceiling. They flickered like dying candles, casting long, twitching shadows that jittered with each flicker. I should have turned back. Instead, I stepped inside. The door slammed shut behind me with a sound like a gunshot. I spun around. No handle, no knob, just smooth, seamless wood. Then came the whispers. They came from everywhere. Soft at first, dozens of voices overlapping, murmuring in a language I didn't understand. Male, female, children, some crying, some laughing, some just breathing. One voice, above the rest, suddenly called out my name.
Eli, Eli, you left the light on again.
It was my mother's voice. She's been dead for 6 years. I turned and ran. I screamed her name, but no reply came, only more whispers, then laughter, then silence. The hallway twisted as I ran, shifting like a maze alive with memory. The walls pulsed slightly, like they were breathing. Then I saw the photographs. Dozens, pinned to the corridor walls. All of me. Some from angles that shouldn't exist, behind me, above me, even in my shower. Even one from this morning, me yawning over coffee, alone in my kitchen. No one else had been there. One showed me in bed, taken that night. I hadn't seen anyone. I dropped to the floor, sobbing, but even my cries didn't echo. It was like the air swallowed sound. That's when the corridor moved again and led me to the red room. After what felt like hours walking deeper, the hallway opened into a round chamber. Everything was red, walls, ceiling, floor, like I'd stepped inside a heartbeat. The air throbbed softly with a pulse that wasn't mine. In the center stood a mirror, 7 feet tall, cracked from top to bottom, the fracture splitting the glass like a scar, but the surface was still reflective. too reflective. I approached it slowly. My reflection stood perfectly still. It blinked. I didn't. My limbs froze. The whispers grew louder, rising into chaotic noise before separating into distinct sentences.
You opened the door. You crossed the line. You let us see you. Now it sees you too.
My reflection smiled. A wide, crooked grin that stretched too far, splitting my face like a mask. Then it stepped out of the mirror. It walked like me. It sounded like me. But its eyes, pure black, no whites, like swirling ink suspended in water. I couldn't move. My feet were glued to the floor, which had turned sticky, viscous, like blood. It pulled at my ankles like it wanted me down there with it. The reflection touched my chest with one finger. My heart stopped. I felt it, felt the silence in my chest where the beating should have been. The last thing I saw before blacking out was my face grinning down at me, whispering in my mother's voice.
Come on, I'll take it from here.
I woke up in bed. Sunlight streamed through the blinds. Birds chirped. The city hummed beyond the window. Normal. I convinced myself it had been a nightmare, a vivid, terrible dream, until I walked into the kitchen and saw the photo on my fridge. Me, sleeping, and at the edge of the bed, a shadow. Tall, thin, leaning over me. My blood ran cold. I rushed to the mirror. My reflection stared back, but delayed, like it was hesitating, like it was thinking. I waved. It smiled. I tried unlocking my phone. Face ID failed. I called my mom's old number, just to hear her voicemail again. But someone answered.
You're not my son.
And she hung up. The neighbors greeted me strangely. One called me
Daniel.
I laughed it off, but they insisted.
Daniel, you've lived here for years.
They said I looked tired.
You don't seem yourself.
That night, I sat in silence. At exactly 3:03, I heard footsteps in the hall. Slow, deliberate, a dragging noise. The fourth door doesn't appear anymore, but I hear the handle turning. Someone's trying to come back. Maybe the real me, or maybe something else. Three weeks have passed. I no longer dream. When I close my eyes, I only see red. The mirror, the other me. My reflection doesn't copy me anymore. It watches, smiles when I cry. Sometimes it mouths things I can't hear. Last night, I turned on the TV. Every channel showed me. Not current, not live. Recordings, memories, childhood birthdays, school recitals, hospital visits. Things I forgot or never remembered living. In one of them, I'm asleep. Something crawls out from under my bed. Long fingers, black eyes. It whispers into my ear as I sleep. I screamed, but the sound came from the TV, not my mouth. I haven't slept since. I don't know where I am, what version of this world I've slipped into. But it's not mine. I'm losing pieces of myself. Yesterday, I forgot how to spell my last name. This morning, I forgot the smell of coffee, my favorite thing. My name is Eli, right? Or was. I think I died in that hallway. I think this is where people go when they disappear without a trace. Not dead, not alive, just replaced. Last night, the mirror in my bathroom fogged up after a shower, and words appeared in the condensation.
Let me back in.
I live alone. I wiped the mirror. Nothing there. I turned off the lights, left the bathroom, and heard the door creak open again behind me. When I turned back, the mirror was clean, except my reflection didn't move. It stayed still, blinking slowly, before raising a hand and drawing a finger across its neck. Today, a door appeared at the end of my street. Not in my apartment this time, just freestanding on the sidewalk. People walked past like it wasn't there, but I saw it. Pale wood, brass handle, 3:03 p.m. It's starting earlier. I ran, but the door followed me. Every window I pass now shows me with someone else standing behind me. Not always the same shape. Sometimes a man, sometimes a child, sometimes something else entirely. I think the door is hunting for a new opening, one I haven't locked, and I'm running out of doors. I can no longer remember the sound of my own voice. When I speak, it doesn't match my lips in the mirror. I've started writing everything down. My name, my birthday, what my apartment smells like, the way my cat used to purr. If I don't write it, I forget it. And now, when I wake at 3:03 a.m., I don't hear footsteps anymore. I hear knocking from the inside. I think I never left the hallway. Maybe I'm still there. Maybe I'm the one behind the door now, waiting for someone to open it.
Don't open it, because something always wants in, and something always wants out.